Hi everyone, my name is Ravi and today I'm here to talk to you about a very interesting topic which is on job interviews. So guys, today in this video I would like to share with you 5 important tips that would come very handy to you for cracking any of the job interviews. So this video is basically for the people who are either looking for a job change or freshers who are looking for their first job. Many of us get very nervous when it comes to interviews. हम इंटरव्यू देने जाते हैं और वहाँ पे हम एकदम पैनिक्ड हो जाते हैं. We get freaked out and at times we just go blank. We just don't know how to answer it. Despite having all the knowledge with us, despite knowing all the answers, God, right? So how do we overcome that challenge? How do we overcome that bottleneck and how do we get a breakthrough? So my name is Ravi, and I have been a professional for the last 9-10 years. I have I've been working with different multinationals, and I've also gone through with this journey, in this phase. I have crossed that phase in my initial years of career, and hopefully I think I can share my experience, which I hope you will find useful. All right. So number one tip, it's about the CV. Guys, you need to make sure that your CV is very professionally made. You cannot afford to make any mistakes there. You cannot have grammatical mistakes, punctuation mistakes, spelling errors. Because that would look very bad on you, right? Uh, in your CV, you talk about your relevant qualifications, you talk about your relevant professional experiences, if any, your certifications, your trainings, or any relevant experience you think which will help you getting a breakthrough in your interview, right? And make sure that whatever you write, you should be able to explain that to the recruiter, right? You just cannot write anything which you don't know, right? So make sure that you're very well prepared about whatever you're writing in your CV. The second thing is about the job description, which is called GD. So, guys, what you need to make sure is that whenever you are applying for a job or whenever you are talking to any recruiter, make sure you get a GD and give a very good look to GD. Understand what are the key things that you need to do if you get selected in this job. Right? It's very important for you to go through well, understand the GD. It's also very important that you also read about the company. There are a lot of data available about the company in its website, on Wikipedia, or even on otherwise at Google. Read through JD well, think of all the possible questions that could be asked you related to that work which is expected of that position, right? Because those are the very relevant points. It's very important for you to know that what all you would be doing there and what is expected out of you of that position, so that you'll be able to answer that if that would be asked to you in your interview, right? That's about the JD. Now, moving on the third point, simple words, standard HR questions. Right? Now, what are these standard questions? The moment you step into an interview room, the very first question could be asked to you, why don't you describe yourself? Why don't you introduce yourself first? Why don't you take a time to share your details with us, say in a 1 minute? Right? So these are the questions that could be asked to you, where you will get a chance to give your brief introduction, where you will find an opportunity to walk them through with your professional journey. Tell them what are your qualifications, share them your credentials, so that they understand that if you are the right fit for this job. So that's the first impression that you want to create in the minds of recruiter. Make sure you utilize it well. Don't talk about personal stuff. Don't get emotional about it. Be very assertive, and if you don't have much to talk about, then keep it as short or as crisp as possible. All right. Uh, Now, what are the other questions that could be asked to you? A very common question being asked in interviews are, what are your weakness and strength? Why do you want to join us? Why should we hire you? Why you're looking for a job change? Right? So these are the questions that could be asked to you, and these are very common questions which you will find across all the interviews, regardless of whichever position you apply for. There are a lot of information available on the internet that how do you answer these questions, but you prepare your own answer. Make a list of these questions. I did that in initial days of my career. I'm sure you can also do that. Make a list of questions, write down your own answers, prepare for it. About the conduct. So conduct is a very important thing. It's about how do you carry yourself in an interview room, since that's one place where you would be judged through and throughout for next maybe an hour or so you will spend there. So make a very good first impression. Greet everyone. Whether it's good, smile, keep smiling throughout your interviews, whether it goes, howsoever it goes, keep that smile on your face, and that's gonna make a lot of difference. Uh, in addition to this, be humble and polite in answering questions in your conduct. At the same time, be very assertive and confident to the to your responses, right? Uh, if you know your stuff well and good, if you do not know, it's okay to not to know all the answers. It's fine. You can always say, I do not know this. And if you want to play smart here, what you can perhaps do is you can tell them that I do not know this, but I know this, and this is something that I have done. This is what I have learned in my past job, or this is what I have learned in my training, right? So that's how you can change the possible question that would be asked to you, and you can play with the mind of recruiter. This is one strategy a lot of strong candidates use in their favor. You can try this, but if I mean that would only work if you know your other answers, right? So so be very sure if you really want to do that. Okay, what's next? uh, Now the last thing that I want to talk to you is about the technical questions, right? That's one thing which recruiter can never compromise with. You are supposed to know your subject matter. If you have written something in your CV, you need to know it. If you are applying for a job, uh, you need to know the basics of it, if not everything. You should be able to explain that what you have done in your past job. So this is what which has been expected in your technical interviews, and I'm sure that's relatively easier, but it's better if you can think through with all possible questions that could be asked to you based on your CV, the work that you have done, and on the and related to JD. So if you can prepare those questions and answer, and prepare its answers in your mind at least, that's gonna make a lot of difference to you in your interviews, right? And guys, the last thing is which is very again very important. That's about the behavioral aspect. So. Many of the recruiters would want to ensure that you are a good team player, you can coordinate well with the team, you can communicate effectively within the teams, you are able to handle stress well, you're not very emotionally weak or very sensitive about things, because it's a corporate, right? We know how it works. So answer very well on these questions, because those are the abilities that you need to demonstrate while working there, and recruiter would be mindful of how do you perform and how do you behave in a particular workplace, in a particular situation. All right, so these were the 5 tips, guys. I hope you find them useful, and even after following them, if you don't get through, don't get disheartened, don't break your heart. It happens. Just work hard towards it, and I'm sure you will get through. And always remember, whenever you come out of interview, they don't select you. Always think that it's their loss. All right. Thank you.